Welcome to the Alain Elkann interviews, an unprecedented window into the minds of some of the most well-known and respected figures of the last 25 years.
Today we are with Christine Orban, a very well-known writer. She wrote more than 20 novels. Today we talk about a new book, a new novel that is called Mademoiselle Spencer, published in France by Albin Michel, and she will be published in Italy end of July, beginning of August at Pienogiorno. But the book is called Mademoiselle Spencer, and obviously it is about Diana Spencer, Princess of Wales, the very famous Princess Di. And Christine is lately specialized into novelizing lives of women who had a very tragic destiny. Why do you put yourself inside this kind of people, this kind of girls, of women, Marie Antoinette or Mademoiselle Spencer?
It's a very interesting question, and I can answer just since a few days. I discovered it because they all die at the same age as my sister Corinne. I write a book about her, L'âme sœur. In English, it was traduced by Random House. One day, my sister disappeared, and she died at 36 years, like Marie Antoinette at 37, but a little bit Jacqueline Pascal, the sister of Blaise Pascal, Diana. And I think inconsciemment, I have to continue those life was injustement interrupted. I think something very sad happens in me. The need of le manque aussi. I need to continue them. And it's just happened with Diana. I have no reason to write about Diana, but I write with an inside camera, like if she was my little sister, to understand her.
But what is interesting in this book, Mademoiselle Spencer, is that obviously it could be a biography somehow, because it is the real story of Diana Spencer from the very beginning, including her childhood, her parents, the separation of the parents, the sadness of her sisters, her brother remaining alone with the father. And then all the story that you tell, I mean, we can talk about it. But what is interesting is that you obviously novelize this, because I don't think that the dialogues in the books are original dialogues. So you invent part of it, and part of it is the true story. How do you build this kind of books? How do you novelize this kind of biographies?
I think it needs a lot of empathy, and I feel next to her. I was writing Diana, and I was becoming a blonde hair princess. I thought I was her. And Carol Oates says the same thing when she was writing about Marilyn. She said, I was becoming a blonde hair doll. I was a sort of princess who have a very sad marriage. She thought she was chosen by a man, but she was chosen by an institution, by the grandmother and the queen, and she knew it after the marriage. That's the problem.
Yeah, they say that the grandmother said you didn't marry a man, but you married a family.
Yes.
But she is very young and doesn't really understand. As much as her sister Sarah doesn't want to be married with the Prince of Wales because she doesn't like him, she is in love with him for a long period of time. She really would love to be loved by him, and she is constantly disappointed, right? And he is very cold, and plus in the whole book there is another character, which is Camilla, right? Madame C, who is everywhere in the romance, in the story. She's everywhere, and it's a complete obsession of Mademoiselle Spencer.
Yes, of course. But she was in love with the prince, like lots of English young girls. And Diana was conditioned because his father was working for the crown, the two grandmother. It was for her a fairy tale to be chosen by him. That's why I think the disappointment was so enormous. And another thing I discovered, because I think when I start a novel, the start is important and the end. And I want to start with his first trauma. And his first trauma is when her mother leave. Her mother leave for another man. And she thought, I'm sure, I can feel it. If my mother doesn't like me, nobody would like me. And when she was fragile, and when Charles start loving another woman or continue loving another woman, and she knew about it, she commit suicide. She commit suicide of many way, terrible way. You know it, starving his legs, his chest, throwing down herself away on the stairs when she was pregnant.
Obviously, you have a great sympathy for her. She's l'héroine of the novel, right? You have sympathy for her, not for Madame C or for Charles. Nevertheless, she felt it probably, no? She was intrusive inside a love story that was forbidden by the crown, right? I mean, the Camilla and Charles story. So she felt very uncomfortable in this situation, right?
You can see it on the photo, on the cliché. We have to go behind the cliché and to analyze the cliché because she smiled, but we can see and in her eyes a lot of sorrow. The smile is, comment dirais-je, artificial. The beginning, she tried to hide. And that's what I think at the beginning, she's not very comfortable, sexy. After she going to begin this icon. And the book is also about the transformation of a woman. Why? And she the girl wandered, but bien élevée, well, good education, will transform herself en bombe, sexy, is going to have lovers. What happens?
What did you do to tell this story? Did you study? How did you prepare yourself to write this book? Because there is a lot of real story in it and also a lot of imagination. How did you prepare the book? Because it's not a fantasy, right? It's not a story that you invent. So you must have known a lot of details and a lot of gossip, a lot of stories. How do you prepare yourself? How did you study to do this book?
I read all the sentences she said. I read all the sisters said, or Charles said. I read what she write, not a lot, of course. It's much more difficult than to write on Blaise Pascal, because Blaise Pascal, we have thought, we have letters, we have a lot of things. And I have to analyze his body language. And she tells a lot with the body language. I can feel it, the way she look. I get used to her, and she have no poker face. She tell a lot. Look at the photo. They tell me a lot. But of course, I read all the biographies. I read a lot. But I want to a face-à-face with her. It's her in me. That was the way I work. And also, of course, sometimes with my intuition. You know, Stefan Zweig, when he wrote Marie Antoinette, said the intuition go further than a cold document. Sometimes the novelists have to faire confiance to his intuition. But all she said, it's her words.
You had some reactions about this book. Some people said, how did you dare to write this story like this? I don't talk about the literary quality of the book, which is very good, but did you had criticism, people who said, who were angry with you because of what you wrote?
They could be, but not yet. Maybe in England, I won't be traduced. Maybe because, Diana, her true story, Andrew Morton, it was hard for him to find a publisher because the family is very powerful and people are afraid. Maybe the king don't want to hear about Diana now. That may be the problem in England. I don't know, but there is a lot of person who love Diana, and it's not a charge against Charles. I say there are two victims. Charles was a victim too because he was obliged to get married. But Diana have a lot of person who love her. She's one of the persons the most famous and the more loved in the world,
But do you have sympathy for Charles also in the book?
Yes, I have sympathy for him. I'm sorry for him. The fairy tale is Charles and Camilla, of course, because it's incredible how he loved her. That's the magic story. And Diana knew it, but too late.
But when you talk about Camilla, you describe Camilla who tries to have a relationship with Diana, right? They have lunch together, they see each other. She's not very nice with Diana.
I think everybody try. I think Charles try to love Diana and to let Camilla. Sincerely, I think they try, but sometimes it's impossible. I think Camilla tried to be friend with Diana, but it was not the right way to stay around and be a friend. They have to be completely separated. But I think everybody try.
In your book, it's interesting what you just said before, the evolution of Diane, right? From being, as you say, a young woman of bonne famille, a little shy, not so sexy and all that, to transform herself into the Diana, the icon, right? A very beautiful woman, desired, who had this double life. No, you describe she's very nice with the poor people, with the humble people. She's close to Mother Teresa of Calcutta, but in the same time, she has affairs and she wants to dance with famous actors and she likes to be a star. At the point that Charles becomes very jealous of Camilla's success, and the royal family is very upset by her success, right?
She was a treated woman. She was blessed, and Charles didn't like her. So she go where people love her, and the press and the public open their arms to her. So she goes there, and va vers eux. She go with them. And it was the press. The press said, Diana, we love you. People in the streets love her. So she want to go there. And she realized her beauty. Beauty is a force. She realized people was in love with her. And it's human. It's so important because she was not loved by her husband. So she go where somebody loved her, and it was the press and the public. I think that's the beginning of the story. Why? It began when she was in Bahamas and she was only with a bikini on the sand, and she have an old photo, magnifique. And she realized Charles was angry about that, the family. So it was a force. It was a revenge.
She becomes a star herself, and this is very annoying for the royal family. And then she starts saying, if he has a mistress, I can have lovers. And she starts having a few lovers, especially in love with Oliver Horn, where there is a real story, and plus Oliver is an acquaintance, a friend of her husband, so it becomes equal, Camilla and Charles, her, and all in somehow. But since a long time, since kings and queens were often married because of political reasons, right? So They wanted him to marry Diana, Charles, because she was of a very good aristocratic English family, and the Windsors had the German past, so they wanted to be more and more English. And so she was a perfect choice. Why was she so attached to the idea to be loved by him? Because sometimes kings and queens, they were friends, they knew why they were married, but they each had their own stories. Why did she choose this pathetic thing at the beginning, and then, like an avenging, she became this huge star?
She wanted to be loved, not to be a queen.
I sympathize for her, but she accepted to be a queen. She knew where she was going.
I think she don't knew where she was going. Her grandmother tell her, you react like a bourgeoise. You want loving marriage. You're not a bourgeoise. You're going to be a queen. So she had to accept la liaison de Charles. But that's why I like Diana, because she's particular. She was also very young when she got married, and she don't realize shattered. He was in love with another woman. She didn't know all that. She thought it was a fairy tale, sincerely, and she was so disappointed. She won't love. Maybe because of the first trauma. She was looking at her mother who lived. She was looking for love, and she need love, and she feel alone. It was also a family quite cold. It was difficult to be there. And she wanted to talk with the queen, and the queen is not the right person to talk with about love. The queen cannot critique his son, and Diana make another mistake when she want to talk with the queen about her heart problems. Was not the right person, and of course she feel alone. She cannot talk just with Sarah, but Sarah tell her sister, who don't want to be married with the prince because she knows she won't be free. And
she didn't like him. You describe it in the sense that she thought he was too snob, too affected. She didn't want him. She said, no, thank you, I rather not.
Because she's strong. She don't need to be married to the Prince of Wales. And she have everything in his family. It's a very great family in England. I think Diana fall in love when she was 8 years old, when she see him on TV. And she's so innocent. The first time she talked with him, I didn't retravailler the sentence, the word she pronounced, because they are so sweet. When she sit à côté d'elle, she said, when I saw you walking behind le cercueil of your uncle, Mountbatten, you seem so sad, so lonely. I think you need protection. And it was so naive that I think the prince may be at the moment intrigué par elle.
You say this in the book. You have in the book moments of tenderness, or he's suddenly very nice to her, or does a gesture, something for her. So did he have feelings for her? Plus, she was the mother of his children.
I think he have. I think it was very difficult for him too, because he was like a hero of tragedy Greek. He was déchiré between the power and love, and he cannot choose. And Diana chose. When she convoked the BBC, she chose the end of the comedy. She chose. She don't want anymore because she know it was the end. That's why I want to stop my book there. And this terrible mistake for her.
And the TV show.
Yes, a TV show she organized at home.
At the end of the day, what is interesting in this story is that you start with a very shy little girl, then with a very shy teenager or something like that, who is like Alice in the Wonderland in the middle of this big institution, which is the monarchy. And then this very shy person becomes a victim of the press. I mean, she becomes incredibly popular, and she uses the press for her own private feelings. And at the very end, she dies because of the press somehow, followed by paparazzi, and had this tragic end in Paris in that accident. So it is strange, right? Interesting, sad to see la parabole of this life.
She don't manipulate, but she used the press. She used the press just to take a revenge against Charles. After she used the press to talk with him because she said he didn't listen at her. And she want to talk with him. She want to tell him what she feel, what's happened. And that's why she convokes the TV. But there was 23 million of person looking at her. She was not just talking with Charles, but she speak like he was just talking with Charles. I think she forget the 23 million of person and the scandal it will be. Enormous scandal. That's why Elle m'émeut. She's an heroine. She's become a...
She's moving you.
Yes,
Yeah.
That's why I use Mademoiselle Else and Schnitzer to light her also, because she is a character now. Nobody in real life can talk with the BBC like she talked with her husband. I think she was really, really désespérée, completely désespérée. Otherwise, nobody does that.
You are dark hair, but you felt that you were a blonde princess yourself. This means that when you write a book like this, or you wrote the books before, you become your character. I mean, you live inside the emotions, the life, the thing of this character. In other words, you are obsessed by this character, right? Who becomes you. So when the book is finished, the book is published and finished, what is your feeling as a writer? You feel empty, or you will find another character soon to be obsessed by, or how does it work for the writer, for you?
Very difficult to finish my book and to give it to my publisher. He have to come and to take the book when it's finished. I'm like Penelope, who make again and again La Broderie. I write it 10, 12 times generally by hand and correct and correct. It never finished, like the analysis Freud, never finished for me. And it's un chagrin d'amour. I'm depressed, baby blues when the book is finished, but all my characters stay with me like my best imaginary friends. I'm very chic. I'm very close to Marie Antoinette, to Virginia Woolf, to now Diana. They are very close friends, like very close imaginary friend. Jacqueline Pascal, I was my précédent livre. It was the sister-in-law of Blaise Pascal, and she was living at Port-Royal. And I go from...
It was Soumise, no? The title of that book.
Yes, Soumise.
The previous book.
Yes.
You wrote many books, 20 books. What do? You write all the time? Since you're young, if I am not wrong, they wanted you to be an architect, or something like that when you were young.
A lawyer. I studied to be a lawyer, and I have to go where my heart me porte. And I hate to work in a bureau. I want to be free. I want to choose my life, my heroine. Writing is my second life.
When do you write?
I write here, dans mon bureau. And when I travel, if I start the book, I can continue, but I cannot start a book traveling. I start here.
And you write longhand, you like with a pen?
Both. With my, j'imprime, and after I correct with the hand, I rewrite with the hand, je retape, It's a long process.
And you work for many hours or just a few hours a day?
I need my all day long. I take very few rendezvous when I'm writing, but never on the morning. I get up very early. Every morning at 5, 6, I'm here with my petit déjeuner. And I work until lunchtime. Sometimes I have a lunch, not a lot. I walk on the afternoon. I have a life for religious, I think, janséniste.
Now you're doing the promotion of Mademoiselle Spencer. You will probably do it in Italy too. But are you thinking of another book? Are you already writing another book? Can you live without writing a book for a few months? Or how does it work?
I don't know. I can live without writing a book. It's really my way of life, my second life. I think the reality don't satisfy me. I need imagination. I cannot live without imagination. I have a little feet on real life and another, but plus lourd on my imagination. And maybe I write sometime about person in real life just to let me, because when I write novels, each time I analyze me or something of my life. And I like to understand other people and to live another life than my life.
Are you preparing a new book? Are you again going to be inside somebody else's life? Or you will write a completely different novel, an invention, or you don't know yet what you're going to write?
Exactly know what, and it's very special. So I cannot tell you now.
But it's not about someone real again, or it is?
It can be something special. I write about a picture. It was L'Origine du Monde, but that I do it. And it was hard to imagine me as Johanna Ifermal, the model of Courbet. But I want to understand why this woman accept to pose in this position. And it was passionnant. But now it's also another subject, not this kind of, but très spécial. But I cannot tell you now.
Thank you very much for telling me all these things. I imagine the book has been successful in France. I wish you success in Italy and other countries. Thank you very much for being with me today.
Merci, Alain.
Alain Elkann interviews.